Today, we are going to be testing to see if it's possible to beat Warcraft III Reforged human campaign with just basic units. First, a clarification of the rules. Only footmen and peasants can deal damage and take damage. Static defense is allowed. Heroes can be used as horsebacks and bend the rules when necessary to progress the game. This is to kind of avoid getting soft locked, hard locked, or stun locked, especially on non-footman missions such as Mission 8. No other unit can take damage, activate spells, deal damage, or use items. Non-base missions have to be tried to the best of my ability, and everything has to be on hard mode. We're starting off with Mission 1, the Defense of Strahd. My immediate reaction is to destroy every crate and camp possible. My non-existent OCD, which I do not have, does not allow me to let these things live. I use Arthas to pick up any items and check the bottom left as I get 2 more footmen. This increases my footman force to 6. I then do this Timmy side quest. This one is a bit more difficult than I was expecting, and I immediately realized that I would have a tough time doing some of these other side quests and hidden areas. As such, I decide to avoid them entirely, at least of right now. My footmen are already looking worse for wear. I then move to the left to unlock my final 3 footmen to join my army, more than doubling my original military. With some light micro, I was able to have my decently damaged army and send them to the final objective and slay the Slave Master. Funnily enough, I didn't actually know that you were supposed to kill the Slave Master and his entourage. I thought killing the Slave Master would just be enough. And with that, Mission 1 is already complete. Mission 2, Black Rock and Roll. Now we get to the first base building mission of the campaign. Now if you remember this mission, you'll recall that you'll only need to kill the Blade Master, but I intend to destroy the red base as well. One thing that kinda took me by surprise is how strong the enemy base attacks you. This isn't something I recall, to be perfectly honest, but nonetheless an enjoyable challenge. I think this is one of the things that Reforged changed with the hard mode, where the hard mode is far more difficult than they were previously, and I get to feel that in the later missions. After I build up my defenses, I go exploring, and immediately unlock the side quest of this mission, killing Saranox. Now the reason I'm doing this mission specifically is because it unlocks the Orb of Fire, giving the ability to attack air, which is pretty important when you think about the fact that your main hero is melee only. To kill Saranox, however, I cannot use any riflemen. So what unit do I use to attack air? Well, I have the strongest unit of them all, capable of killing Archimonde himself, the worker unit, and in this case, a peasant. By building guard towers near enough the flying whelps, I can take them out. It actually takes a few tries to get this right. I don't know why I didn't make more guard towers further away. It seems obvious in hindsight. With the Orb of Fire in my grasp, it is time to destroy the red base and then the Blade Master, and they fall pretty easily. Honestly, Saranox was a tougher boss fight to pulse. As we begin Mission 3, Ravages of the Plague, I didn't realize how annoying this mission is going to be. I had hoped to skip through this bandit fight and run through the end, but it doesn't seem to be the case, as the bandits that you miss attack Arthas and Jaina, so I opt to kill them all. But this results in my health being significantly low for all of my footmen. I considered using Holy Light here. It's not like I'm gonna get attacked, but I actually opted to open up Cheat Engine instead, as I feel like making the game speed significantly faster, for whatever reason, feels a bit more authentic. As such, I speed hack my way through. I kill some Murlocs, vanquish some bandits, and speed hack my regeneration all over again. As I was moving to the left, I realized an ambush. Now, the problem with this one is that the archers focus fire on the neutral units. So even though I'm desperately trying to save them, they end up falling one after the other. Only one of them ends up surviving, which I guess is better than nothing. As I move to the left, I finally unlock the Fountain of Healing. So now we don't need to speed hack, we just can go back and forth. I do have to be careful as I'm unlocking new units, such as the priests, to make sure they don't heal any of my footmen, as that would result in a reset. The mortar team as well needs to be stopped, as if when he falls under my control, he cannot shoot no more. This is the place where I sort of messed up. I forgot to save, and I had lost a footman, but on top of that, I decided to attack the Abomination, which cannot be defeated by 3 footmen. On top of that, moving Arthas and his army right resulted in these 2 skeletons attacking it. I have not saved, so please do. I apologize. I cannot load and do this nonsense all over again. Please forgive me, but I do not want to do this all over again. But with 2 footmen, I actually did still consider loading, because with 2 footmen, I can't actually kill the abomination. So what do? I decided to beeline it for the granary. So if you're wondering, this surprisingly works. So if you're wondering what happens when you kill the granary before you kill the abomination, well...
What was that? And who is that wizard dressed in black?
I believe that the robed man was a necromancer. Obviously, he and his lackeys are behind this plague.
Well, it's a good bet we'll find him and the answers we're looking for in Anderhall.
We go to the last mission and we'll see Jaina. You see, Jaina and Arthas need to figure out their feeling, and as such will remain in this corner until they do so. This mission is relatively straightforward. All you have to do is kill Kel'Thuzad, but to do that, you need to actually destroy this green base, or run through it, depending on your preference. Me, I'm gonna destroy it, obviously. I immediately expand as fast as possible, but defend with a cube of towers, wait till I have enough money, and then launch an offensive. This green base is surprisingly difficult to crack. I think it's partially due to how it's built, but they were able to stun lock me for quite a while. I had to wait for them to attack me first. I even had to load a couple of times. Nonetheless, the base does end up cracking as a result in a complete victory. We still have to kill Kel'Thuzad, but the rest of the mission is a breeze. I skipped the cutscene here, but I presume Kel'Thuzad and Arthas did work out the differences and became best friends. Currently, the game has been a breeze. It's the non-base building missions that have given me the most trouble so far, but that's about to change. After figuring out their feeling, Jaina runs away, leaving Arthas to deal with this alone. In this harsh breakup, Arthas could do nothing but cry in his corner, where he finds 2 random footmen. Now, in the beginning, there are 2 riflemen and a priest, and I have to make sure these 3 do not attack nor use any spells. This took a couple of tries, but I did get there at the end. I did have to slow down the game speed and the frames, but inevitably, I was capable of doing this. Now comes the hard part, defending with only footmen. I do recall this mission being one of the more difficult ones, but I did find one small trick to make it easier, or you could call it a strategy depending on how you see things. On the top left choke point, I used this ultimate technique known only to a few, tower spammer. Using the top left as a choke point, you can defend these 2 areas at once with minimal effort. Because Footman is a gold resource intensive unit, I decided to expand. Now the direct way is actually blocked by a couple abomination and 2 spare towers, so I actually decide to go to the long way. This works. Now they do attack this base, but I do make sure to keep it defended. As I'm increasing the defenses to my base, the bonus quest activates. These wagons are very dangerous, and by the end, there's an entirely new choke point that you're gonna have to defend. I decide to risk it all and fail miserably. One of the reasons the attack couldn't work was because of the zombie attack that slows down my footmen, making them take damage when they didn't need to. So I increase my force somewhat and wait for the zombie attack to pass before engaging with the enemies. However, as soon as I do that, the green also attacks, which results in me waiting a little bit longer than necessary. This, however, works in my favor as I catch them while they're moving, which means that the abominations and necromancers are at the back and the meat wagons are at the front, allowing me to attack several meat wagons and even returning with some of my units still alive. Now we wait. I upgrade my defenses, make my army stronger. It does get a little bit difficult here and there. The Lich uses a powerful death and decay to destroy my towers, but behind those towers are even more towers. The mission never truly gets hard until the final wave, which I'm able to successfully wither. Let's go through this final attack with a music montage.
I finally know why I feel like a number. They keep a secret into their mind. They never document for telling lies. Make me feel at least like a monster. Make me feel at least like a fire. It seems I can't find a place to go. There's a world of things I'll never know. 'Cause everywhere I go, there's nowhere I belong. And anyone should tell me where will I find? 'Cause everywhere I go,
Another successful mission. Maybe these missions are not going to be that difficult. I don't know if you guys remember this, but this mission was actually the first mission that was actually teased as Reforged. Well, this mission has been reforged, alright, and the difficulty shows it. I can't engage with Mal'Ganis directly at all. He's too strong. Being a level 8 and capable of summoning an Infernal, using only the basic unit makes him a monster to deal with head-on. So we go with strategy number 2. If it's too difficult to engage with Mal'Ganis, I will just ignore the Dreadlord. What's interesting though is that Mal'Ganis will actually go after you instead if you ignore him for too long, resulting in me being sandwiched. As the mission progresses, I start sweating more and more. I'm running out of gold, my base is getting attacked, and my Footman keeps getting caught by Houdini here. I reloaded over 20 times at this point, but finally I reached the end. Mal'Ganis was too far to stop me from getting the last couple of kills, resulting in my victory. This was the first mission that I realized that I actually had a ton of problems with. It's pretty interesting to see how difficult Reforged would be if they actually put in the effort to make Reforged actually Reforged. Now the first part of the mission is a no base building mission, but you don't need to actually kill anyone as you can waltz right into the end. As I bring the rest of my army, I made a mistake and accidentally let a priest heal one of my damaged footmen. I also did not save, so I had to run through this all over again. Fun. This time, I do kill the priest, as well as the rest of my non-footman units, and then start building my infrastructure. Defending the top right base is going to be difficult as they have plenty of pre-placed units, and if they attack, then I would have to restart. After 30 minutes of building up my forces and building up a cube of towers for defense, I go. I did initially consider just taking the top right base, but the purple base is too close and they attack immediately, so that's out. I opt to destroy the purple base instead. This does seem to be the better option in the end. Once again, defend 2 points and harvest gold until there's no more gold to speak of. I then launch an all-out offensive, destroying their bases and winning the mission. Mission 8. There's no footman on this mission, so let's talk about the aspects of the game, as well as some more information on the rules. Part of the reason I allowed for heroes to be treated like horseback is so these non-base building missions could go along much smoother. You might have noticed at times in my previous missions that I stopped my footman production at 50 food. This is because after it crosses 50 food, we get low upkeep and then high upkeep. This results in less gold being harvested per peasant. Footmen are not the basic unit of all the 4 races either. They tie with archers, as the archers have ranged attack but are more squishy. Footmen also have the defend ability, which allows them to reflect some piercing damage. We complete the penultimate mission, Mission 9, Frostmourne, the final mission of the human campaign. And boy, does this start with the bang. The opening is crazy. Not only is the initial attack insane, but the fact that I have to spend time killing my units means time wasted elsewhere. After finding the correct choke point to defend with my towers and building the right amount of footmen, I am able to push through the first initial wave. And the pressure does lean up a little bit, allowing me to build up an army and focus on the choke point that most of the base can be defended with. We have some close calls and some surprise attacks, but nothing we can't handle. Something I noticed is that Mal'Ganis never joins the green attack wave. I believe this is to make it a little bit easier as you have no heroes in your main base. So you need to get Frostmourne before Mal'Ganis attacks. As I build up my army to launch an offensive, purple attacks me with a sizable army. Instead of maxing out my footmen, I decide to take a risk and attack with low upkeep. This works as their main force, having been defeated by my tower, buckles under the pressure of my footmen. Now with 3 gold mines under my thumb, instead of defending with a cube of towers on every base, I decide once again to focus on one single choke point. Now this one's a little bit dangerous as the choke point is too close to the enemy bases, resulting in arrows that go too far to engage with the green's defenses, especially the meat wagons that need footmen to chase after them. Again, a couple of close calls, but I persevere. I also structured my towers a little bit differently as time moves on, as I found better positioning for them, which are far away enough to not engage the Green's defenses, but close enough to make sure they don't split off and attack another base. Now I wait until I exhaust every gold mine on the map. I'm gonna need every single cache I can get to destroy the Green Undead base without Arthas. It's kind of crazy to see how much gold I can get. I purposely stayed in no upkeep, and seeing gold climb up to 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, and even 60,000 feels like a number you can only get via cheating. And now for the offensive. Launching a full-sized attack wave is not good enough. I built 12 barracks right below the Green Undead base to continuously funnel the Footman army. This does not work, and the Green base actually survives fighting back too strong. The combination of flying units and Mal'Ganis is overwhelming. However, in between the fight, I decide to shift gears. I still have an insane amount of bank, so I focus on the structures instead. This stops them from creating more units, and as time goes on, my enormous bank of 65,000 has been reduced to 30,000. It took more than half of all the gold on the map to overwhelm Mal'Ganis, and I didn't even destroy all of his bases yet. Now, something interesting with Mal'Ganis, until you get Frostmourne, you can't actually kill it. He keeps reviving with what I presume is an infinity amount of Ankh reincarnations. I use Arthas to get Frostmourne and then kill Mal'Ganis with what I presume are 100 mini Frostmourne wielded by our Footman. And thus, it is in fact possible to beat Warcraft III Reforged human campaign with just basic units.